Yeah, I missed. I'm not good at clapping.
My brain went to Mulan. You missed. How could you miss? He was 3
feet
in front of you.
Yeah. Racist. Just kidding.
Wow.
Ever had your face compared to a dinosaur or thrown a shoe at your boss? Wouldn't recommend it.
Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments from Business Proposal Episode 2 with you, our listeners.
We're going to jump right in. So this is your one and only warning. Spoilers are incoming. So if you have not yet, make sure you go and watch the episode now and then meet us back here so we can talk about the episode together. So without further ado, Episode 2.
Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
Go to our Instagram and follow us at the KDrama Show. We will, again, I forgot to get any names written down.
Do you want to do that really quick?
Do it real time.
Chris_mad. Did. He has 3 Ds at the end.
All right. I like it.
Today, Junior. You say that to me all the time. Episode 2, Business Proposal. Topic 1 is called Escape. We pick up where we left off last time with Hadi rushing into Taemu's car to escape, running into Minu. She tries to cover by saying that she wanted to make extra sure that he knew that she wasn't going to marry him, but he insists that she will marry him.
Mm-hmm.
Your face looks like an Archaeopteryx. Dang it! I even practiced it. Archaeopteryx. And Secretary Cha kind of giggles at this in the front seat. Yeah. But Hadi ditches out, and Secretary Cha is back at the office showing Taemu what an Archaeopteryx. Gosh. You even asked me how to pronounce it. Anyway. But Youngso and Hadi are eating dinner, trying to work out what they should do next. And Hadi thinks that it's just because Taemu wants more money. And Youngso's like, no, that can't be it, because his family has way more money than mine does.
Mm-hmm.
But they go for another round. And so Youngso stands up to go to round 2, and she sits at the table across the way. and Hadi's just like, what are you doing?
What is happening?
And she wants to stay right there, since outside on the street is where she met her dream man, who she is secretly hoping that she'll run into again. And as they're talking about this, we see her dream man, Secretary Cha, walk past. Missed it by that much. But topic number 2 is called A Hot Mess.
So we see Hadi and Youngso are dead to the world on Hadi's bedroom floor. And Hadi's mom and brother come in and are just like, they continue to drink. They came home belligerent, and here they are. And so her mom like yells at them and stomps on a empty can to wake them up. And they're like, what's going on? What's happening? And they're like, do you really not remember? Well, the night before they came home blasted, and there was a whole scene. Youngso was brought in by the police, begging for them to help her find her dream man. No, I didn't want you to help me find my home. I wanted you to help me find my man, and this is what he looks like, and his shoulders are this big. And Hadi stops her and forces her to bow and be like, I'm so sorry. And then as she's messing with her face, she goes, your mouth is ripped open. Like, they are on a whole new level of intoxication.
They start to like wail in front of everybody.
They lay on the floor.
Ripped.
It is like Hadi's dad just goes, I've never seen this before. He's apologizing to the police officers who have brought them home. Like, I apologize. I did not raise my child to be like this. And so when they come to the realization of what they had done the night before, they quickly are on their knees and they're like, I'm so sorry. I love you, Mom.
I love how they say to each other first, like, we need to cut back on our drinking.
I think we need to stop.
It's time.
To which we then cut to the chairman's house, and he is coming in to tell Tamu, you know what? We're going to start looking for a wedding venue. You're getting married. We might as well get this, show on the road. And
gotta get those great-grandchildren turning out.
I'm ready to be great-grandpa. Come on now. And Tamu gets a message from the real Youngso, and they agree to meet. And Secretary Cha is wondering, why would she want to meet you again? She specifically said she didn't want to ever see you again. She didn't want to get married. And, I think she might be right. You kind of do look like an Archaeopteryx. Like, just the whole, and Tamu is very again,
offended.
Put off by the whole conversation.
That brings us into topic 3, which is called When Slippers Fly. Hadi is at work again when Kevin starts to talk about how much he and Tamu they're really like step for step in common. Since, Tamu was number 1 in his class at Harvard, and he was the top in his class at his college for a semester. Tamu won a national track and field award, and Kevin had been the winner of the company relay race back at the company field day. Parallel universes. And the team leader says, I have so much in common with Gianna, since we both have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And he gets so offended by this.
And we're women.
And we're both women. And he gets so offended by this. Like, how dare you compare yourself? But as they're talking, Keiji, the young team member, she gets a phone call from Minu, her, quote, fling, who has asked to meet her in the lobby of the company. And this immediately catches Hadi's attention, obviously. And she kind of meanders down to the lobby to see what's going on, casual. But she sees the 2 sitting at the table, and Keiji actually reaches out and is touching his hands on the table. And he presents her with this gift bag, and we see Keiji's face, though, is not really one of happiness per se. And they start to walk toward Hadi, who is hiding behind a pastry cart. But as Hadi is heading up the elevators again, she runs into Tamu, who's exiting an elevator, and tries to use her badge she tries to badge out of the door to get through, but it's not letting her. And as she's running away, she collides with another employee, and her slipper flies off of her foot and just clocks him in the face. But he immediately says in a big voice, "Who threw that at my face?" And Secretary Cha's like, your nose is bleeding. And we see Hadi, who sprints away from the scene of the crime, and he just takes off after her. There's that track and field award. But we see a chase ensue up several flights of stairs, and it's kind of impressive given that she's in her socks on a tile floor.
Yeah, has one slipper on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think she was holding the other one in her hand, maybe. I don't know.
Regardless.
Yeah, it just seemed really not safe. But Secretary Cha is trying to keep up with these 2, lamenting the fact that this is just going to look bad in front of the rest of the company. But Hadi eventually escapes through a door in the stairwell, and she tries to take an elevator, but Tamu catches up to her, and he stops the door from closing. And then he asks her in the elevator why she threw the slipper. And she, of course, says, well, it was just an accident. And then he sees her name badge, and he calls her by her name, Shin Hadi, and asks why she would have run away if it was just an accident. And then she says she was shocked because of his bloody nose. And he kind of sees the state of her, and he sort of takes it in, and he feels bad because he realizes it was an accident, and now I've just traumatized my employee. And he gives her back her slipper and then proceeds to compliment her projects, which gets her really excited. This is her passion. She loves what she does. And she realizes, as she's talking about it, that her latest creation is about to be overcooked in the lab, so she's got to go. And he kind of says to himself, I like the way she works.
She's weird, though. She
is a little strange. But we're back in the lab, and Kevin tells the team that someone had thrown a slipper at the president and given him a bloody nose. And he asks Hyeji if she had seen it since she had been in the lobby. And she very solemnly says that the chef, Lee Minu, had broken off their fling turns out that the gift bag that he had brought her was a present that he couldn't accept, as he couldn't accept her feelings. So the team leader kind of scolds Heiji, though, after Hari has left to go check on her
mackerel.
Yes, her mackerel, thank you. Saying that Heiji needs to learn to read the room, since Minu seems to have already had some feelings for Hari, which I don't...
Well, and Hari very clearly likes him.
Yes, exactly. But that brings us to topic 4, which is called Caught Red-Handed.
So Youngso is in the parking lot. She's trying to park, and somebody is parked very, very stupidly. Very maddening when that happens. And so she's like, I can't deal with this right now. So she backs out because she's trying to find a new spot. And she ends up getting hit by Secretary Cha. And, they both get out.
I have to tell you this story.
Okay.
Because the way you said that reminded me when I was 19 years old, 18 years old. I was at Bible study. And the road at the apartment that I was having Bible study at was on a curve.
Oh, no.
And so I, pulled up to the curve, but the back half of my car was not against the curb because I was on a curve.
Mm-hmm.
We're, half an hour in, and we hear a knock on the door. And it's a police officer, and I'm like, oh, crap, it's me. But he opens the door, and he's just like, whoever's in the whatever car outside, could you please come park good? I was like, yeah, I can. Okay.
Come park good.
It's been almost a decade, and I still. Can you come park good?
What if I can't?
I clearly cannot park good, so can you just leave, give me a ticket, and go? Anyway, continue with your topic. I'm sorry.
We needed that detail. Thank you. So Secretary Cha gets out of the car, and she realizes, or Youngso realizes, oh, this is my dream man.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm really in a hurry right now. Here, this is my card. And he looks at it and just goes, Jin Youngso? And she goes, yes, what? Is there a problem? And Taemu is standing there and goes, yes, there is a problem because you're not the real one.
An imposter.
So,
It's from Among Us, it's fine.
I'm very lost.
It's okay.
So
I'm getting slap happy.
Taemu and Youngso are sitting having the conversation that Youngso had promised Hari that she would have of listen, I hired somebody. I have no idea who it is that I hired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get married. I don't want to do an arranged marriage. And so she comes clean-ish, obviously, because she's protecting her friend. And Taemu just tells her, you know what, our families are going to be super upset when everyone finds out what has happened. This is not going to end well. And she's like, please, what are you going to tattle on me, basically? Let's find a resolution here. And he says, you know what, in order for me to say that it isn't going to work out between us, you have to bring the woman that I said I would marry. You have to bring the imposter to me.
Well, he calls her on the fact that she knows more than she lets on because of the whole bag
the
situation. Purses. Yeah, it was pretty smart.
Dun, dun, dun. But we see Secretary Cha get back to his apartment and see an art flyer on his door, and it makes him think to Youngso and seeing her draw on her pants and just be like, oh, so that's who that was. And he walks in, and we see that Taemu is cleaning Songhon's apartment and then cooking them dinner. And we learn that this is Taemu's way of de-stressing. He's like, I put in the work that I get the equal reward. This is a win-win for me.
Well, and I think I like how it kind of speaks to the closeness that these two actually have.
Yeah, they're basically brothers.
Yeah, and you don't really see that side of their relationship until this moment, because the CEO does not just show up and clean his secretary's house. and it be a normal thing.
Right.
Because he's clearly not fazed by the fact that he's there.
He's like, why are you here again?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you have to be here? Because when they sit down to eat, he goes, do you feel better now?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? But Tamu is so upset about the woman that he went on a date with, and she made him say things that he didn't mean, and he's going to have his revenge. Hadi has no idea what's waiting for her because she is sound asleep, happily in her bed.
Because Youngso had called her and said, everything
Everything is
fine."
great.
And then she hangs up and she's just like, ah!
Crap.
I don't know what to do.
Crap. So the next morning, Hadi wakes up to Youngso just like moving her hair and just being like, can I take you shopping? Because you've been really stressed. Like, I put a lot on your plate. And we see a whole clothing montage again. She's getting the whole 9 yards, getting hair done, makeup done. And Hadi gets concerned. She's like, what, am I going on another blind date? And she goes, no, that thought has never crossed my mind. I won't ever do that to you again. And when they're sitting at a coffee shop, and Youngso is kind of panicking at this moment and goes, listen, I'm so sorry, but you have to stay here. Tamu is coming. You have just tell him that you are so sorry. He found out, like, he's super persuasive, and like he was going to find out who you were if I didn't tell him, and it's better if we can just like take care of this way. Just tell him that you're really sorry. Here's the wig. I gotta go buy. And she runs out the door.
So bad. What a terrible friend in this moment. Just be like, bye. Peace out. Good luck.
But as Hadi is panicking in this moment of like, I'm dipping, like,
Yeah.
I'm not staying for this.
Fair.
She knocks over her purse, and there's a bunch of coupons to her parents' chicken shop that get spilled all over the floor, and she's just like, crap, and then sees Tamu walking in and manages to put the wig on, but is still having to pick up all of these coupons when Tamu walks up and picks up a coupon, and she just kind of, she's like sitting there and like falls a little farther to the floor of like,
Defeat.
I can't, I quit. No more. Do I need to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're sitting at the table, and Tamu is looking at this coupon and basically like uses it as a way to get information out of Hadi. This is my family's chicken shop. And then in her head, she's going, crap, why did I just tell him where I live? Like, great, good job. Well done. And he asks her how much she got paid to be the fake Jin Yonso, and she tells him this whole story of like, I told her I didn't want to, and then like it just this is just how it happened. And he goes, you know, how much did you get paid? And she very, very reluctantly tells him that it was 800,000 won, and he goes, were you really trying to scam me for that? Seriously?
I love, though, how he says, how much? And she immediately just, like, rattles off the prices of the chicken specials from her family shop. He's like, no.
That's not what I care about.
That's not what I'm talking about. But anyway, that brings us into topic 5, which is called Shin GeumHui. Youngso is apologizing to Hadi from the car because, right, let's just be honest, she's a sucky friend in this moment.
Yeah, lost points.
But Hadi recalls that Tamu only wants an apology. And she's pretty sincere about the way that she is apologizing for wasting his time and misrepresenting herself. And she says that she'll do whatever she can to basically settle the score between them since she can't actually repay him financially for his time. And he asks her very adamantly, in what way do I resemble an Archaeopteryx? Why can't I say this word?
I don't know.
Archaeopteryx. And she kind of laughs. She kind of brushes it off, saying that it was really just the first thing that had popped into her head at the time. But he does have a small face and some very sharp features. And he does not find that amusing at all. But Hari then asks if she can take off since she needs to go help at the family's chicken shop. And as she's saying this, her phone rings, and the contact says, "Do not answer," and it's Taemu. And he tells her if she in the future does not answer or tries to avoid him, he knows now how to find her. And he holds up the chicken card. And then he asks her name, and she almost slips and says Shin Hari, but she catches herself at the last moment and says Shin GeumHui. And we cut to the chairman who is watching his drama, where the main character is also named Shin GeumHui. We see Taemu arrive home, and he tells the chairman that he has decided not to marry Jin Young-so. Wow. Not to marry Jin Young-so, as the TV is playing out a scene where the rich chaebol is announcing to his very wealthy family that he wants to marry Shin GeumHui. Foreshadowing?
Well, because it's that's who he really loves, and the rich mother-in-law want-to-be slaps him with a pork cutlet.
Yeah.
You are going to disgrace my daughter over the daughter of a chicken shop owner?
Yikes.
Dun dun dun.
Topic 6, a rock and hard place.
So Hari is trying to call Young-so. She's begging that she answers the phone, and there's no response, and she walks up to see Young-so walking out of the chicken shop, like carrying trash out. And she goes and she's ready to just like end their friendship right there. She's like, I'm done with you. And Young-so's begging for forgiveness, and it's like, I'm so sorry. I really didn't know. My phone was off. They're in Hari's room at this point. Like, but I talked with him. Like, it's you're done now. Like, you don't have to pretend to be me. Like, we can move on. But Hari's mom walks in on Hari, like, sitting on top of Young-so, being like, I cannot believe that you just made me go through it. And I still have to deal with him because he now knows where I live.
I'm going to throttle you.
Like, And Hari's mom starts hitting Hari and, like, pulling Young-so and being like, I can't believe you would do this to your friend. And Hari gets upset, reasonably so, saying, like, you know what? If you want her so bad, you can have her. Take her. She's your daughter now. Like, we're done. And Hari's mom gets really upset and leaves the room and is like, I cannot believe she'd blow up at me like that. Where in the world did she get her temper? And Heyman, Hari's little brother, goes, really? How do you not know? But we see that Taemu is watching a commercial for his company. It's at a stupid early hour. It's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And he's upset because he's like, I told them to pay attention to when these commercials are coming out. Like, people need to see them in order to buy our products.
Right.
And so he gets annoyed and changes the channel to a documentary about the archaeopteryx.
I'm so mad that you can say it in the first shot.
I don't know why I can say it in the first shot.
I don't know why I can't.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But he sees it and he's just... the blood is boiling, like, instantly. And he calls Hari and is like, Shin GeumHui. And she's like, it's not... Oh. And, like, looks at the phone and we see the little graphic of the archaeopteryx just... out at her. She's like, yeah, sorry, I was distracted. Did you need something? He's like, I'm just making sure you didn't, drop off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And hangs up, and she looks at her phone. She goes, it's 4 a.m. How am I going to go back to sleep now? Like, that was...
Talk about a rude awakening.
Literally.
That brings us to topic 7, which is called submission. So we are at work the next day, and Hari is looking a little worse for wear, and Kevin has some new news about President Kong's blind date. It's important since there might be a merger that would help their stock prices, and he has a grand total of 50 shares, and it all adds up. But Taemu is busy planning his schedule when Secretary Cha informs him that he is obligated to go on more blind dates at this point. And Taemu endures a bunch of insufferable women, just kind of full of ego, lacking any real substance or personality, as they all sort of blur together with their lack of individuality. And we learn that this is because he went on all 10 dates, like, in succession. And as they return to the company, They head up to the rooftop because Taemu has another date to attend via the helicopter. And so Taemu is busy lamenting that all of the women were so boring when Secretary Cha notices that Taemu's nose is bleeding again in the elevator when he brings up Shin Hari, or as he believes her to be Shin GeumHui. When he walks into his office, the chairman is waiting to greet him, asking if he enjoyed any of his dates. And this is his revenge, getting his hopes up about Young-so and then calling off the engagement right away. But the chairman tells Taemu that he will find a year's worth of candidates until he finds the one.
Bro.
And this is like his nightmare. But Taemu declares that he has finally found the woman that he wants to marry, hence the facade with Young-so and all of the blind dates. You know, they had a bit of an argument, and he just did it to be spiteful to her. But the chairman asks Secretary Cha if this is all true, and, you know, Taemu's like shooting him a look like, you better go along with this, please. And he jumps on board with the lie. So the chairman tells Taemu that he wants to meet this woman right away. But that brings us into topic 8, which I called Hardworking Cow.
So Taemu calls Hari, or as he believes, GeumHui, and says that he wants to meet her after work. And she tells him, you know, I don't work in Seoul, like, it's kind of inconvenient. But they end up agreeing to meet, and she tells him to meet at a cafe. And she's on the phone with Young-so, and she's like, I can't believe you told him it was all the way out in, was it Ilsan? Ilsan. And she's like doing her makeup because she has to put on the wig and the makeup and everything to be this person. And she gets a call from Taemu, and he's like, are you sure that this is the cafe that you visit all the time? Like, really? And she's like, yeah, totally. Like, I love the vibe there. And he's like, okay. Well, it's actually a kids cafe. So there's screaming children, and a little boy runs up and is like, Mama, that kid pushed me. And Hari's just going, I'm not your mom. Please go.
Honestly, what a great idea. A coffee shop with a kid's play place. Build that near me, please.
Pretty please.
I'll be there every day.
So Hari asks him, you know, what do you want? And he tells her, you know what? I want us to go out with, like, I want us to date with the intention of getting married. And she goes, like, she stands up, like, I told you I did not want to get married, and I told you I wasn't, like, no. No. And he goes, no, I don't actually want to marry you. I don't want to actually date you. I want to do, like, pretend dating. Like, I need your help. And she gets very upset and, like, is walking away from him, and, like, you called me an imposter, and now you want me to turn around and lie again. Like, no, this is completely unfair. And he tells her that, you know, you're the best person for the job. You're a good actress, you already know the situation that I am, and you promised to help me out. Like, you said, if there was any way to pay me back, this is the way to do it. But Hari is very adamant that she does not want to lie when Taemu offers to pay double of what she got paid last time, because she's going to have to meet his grandfather more than once. He's a very suspicious person and isn't going to believe that they're going to get married after meeting one time.
Yeah, it's double per meeting.
Yeah, per meeting. So that's...
Which is insane. It's like $1,200 per meeting. I'd do it.
Yeah, I would. Anyway. But she's like, I really don't want to do that.
But she does. She imagines her life without debt.
Yeah. How nice it would be.
Because her parents had asked her to help out with their own debts. And she had worked a lot of, like, tough jobs. We see, like, the montage of her in a Korean barbecue restaurant, and she's paying off debt there. And then she goes to a bar, she pays off debt there. Mm-hmm. She's working in, like, this truck delivery place, she pays off her debt, and they're out from under all of it. And then she gets this awesome job at this, like, huge conglomerate. And then it shows, like, her parents, like, pulling her back down immediately, being like, we have more debt. You need to pay it off for us, please. And yeah, so that's a lot of her motivation for needing that cash.
Get this done.
But that brings us to topic 9, which apparently I didn't name. But as Taemu is giving her a ride home, he asks if she had changed her mind yet, since she promised to do whatever was in her power to make the score even. And then she realizes she's kind of trapped by her own words at this point, and she hears someone in the chicken shop, as she's sitting there after the fact, call out for Shin GeumHui, and she kind of flinches because she's like, oh crap. But it's the TV that is airing that drama.
Mm-hmm.
And Shin GeumHui is getting slapped by a chicken leg. Do you think that a rich family would ever accept GeumHui? Her family owns a mere chicken shop, which is what some of the ajumas who are sitting there eating are saying in front of Hari's mom. And she's just like, excuse you? What's wrong with owning a chicken shop? But as Hari is sitting there kind of, just hating her life, she gets a call from Minu. And he says to her, I'm going to forget your face. Why haven't you stopped by? And I'm just like, no wonder she got the wrong idea.
Yeah.
When you say things like that, you schmuck.
Rude.
But the chairman is watching his drama at home when Taemu shows up. And he asks if a date's been set for the chairman to meet his girlfriend yet. And Taemu reassures him that it'll be soon, even though he doesn't really have a leg to stand on with this lie anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But Hari gets another call from Taemu, and he asks her to come out since he is now in front of her house. And she kind of panics because she's not really sure how well she can throw together, like, the outfit and the makeup and everything at the last minute.
And with her family that she now has to...
Exactly. She has to sneak past them. So she opts for some sunglasses to conceal the heavy makeup that she's putting on to sneak past her family outside. And then she kind of asks him in the car why he had come all that way. And he hands her this enormous, like, envelope, like 4 inches thick.
It was thick.
And says this is a contract. Yeah, since she won't stick to her word, she now needs to sign this document in order to follow through on the fake relationship. But that brings us to topic 10.
Hadi tells him, I can't do this. I can't lie. No. And she gets out and leaves. And he is just like, literally, you're the only person that can pull this off. You're going to do this. And gets out of the car, follows her. And he's again asking why. And Hadi's like, I can't. I just can't do it. Because she obviously can't tell him, I'm your employee. Like, you already pay me. I can't get paid double from my boss. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't do it. And she sees that her brother is coming and, like, pushes Taemu to be like, okay, listen, I'll just talk to you later. Bye. And as she pushes him, he falls backwards through the gate, and she realizes he's falling and goes to grab him and, like, tries to pull his arm. And instead, he just pulls her down on top of him because... obviously there is a very large height difference and weight difference between the two. She's gonna come down.
Yeah.
But we see that actually as she has fallen on top of him, they end up kissing.
Trope.
End of episode 2. A kiss by episode 2 is so uncommon.
Crazy. Character of the hour.
I think it would be Hadi in this moment of not killing her best friend.
Seriously. Though.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Like, but also Young-seo just takes it as just like, no, I deserve all of the anger, all of the, like, give it to me. Like, I deserve all of this. I was a terrible friend to you. I did not.
I'm being a schmuck, but I'm gonna just be a schmuck. Sorry.
But
I love you.
So, yeah, Hadi being so, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
There's some problematic behavior between the two anyway. Who's yours?
I feel like probably Hadi might be mine. I also feel like Taemu kind of has a right to be as mad as he is.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of the fact that he's being bamboozled a little bit. So I don't feel like his reactions are uncalled for, but he's a bit heavy-handed with the delivery. Anyway.
I'd like somebody to come de-stress and clean my house, though.
Seriously,
and cook for me.
That would be real helpful.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if he's gonna cook what he cooks. It looked wonderful.
So yummy.
But final thoughts.
I love their chemistry. Like, already, because it's the little bickering that they do of like, I want you to do this for me. I'm not going to do this for me. You just made me into this horrible person for doing this last time. And just like, they're how they flow together, and it being episode 2, that's not super common in a lot of dramas. It usually takes about episode 4 or 5 for them to hit their stride of like actually like being able to bounce off of each other, and it already started episode 2, and it's more fun.
I like that. I like that it's kind of the enemies to lovers kind of storyline on top of
even
the contract relationship.
But even the bromance, like that bromance, it is such a literally a smooth, well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
that it's just we do like the bromance though.
We live for the bromance.
It's just so entertaining.
We arrive for the romance. We stay for the bromance.
And the second leads.
But anyway, that was episode 2. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at the KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.